In this episode, PTR professional Todd Jordan will show you how to hit an improved inside-out and inside-in forehand by going over 4 key aspects of the shot. Learn how to hit like the pros.
Are you guys using your forehand to the best of your ability? If you're not, I'm going to show you how to do that today on the singles court and when you're playing doubles. Okay, so why is that inside out, inside in forehand such a powerful weapon in tennis? Why are guys like Djokovic, Wawrinka, guys that have amazing backhands, why do they run around their backhand to play a forehand? I'm going to show you 2 reasons why they're doing that. The first reason, when I come around here and play this inside out, inside in forehand, first of all, by playing it inside out, I have 2 options now. I can play the inside of the ball and get that ball to curve off to the right with my inside out forehand, or I can get on the outside of the ball and play that inside in forehand and get that ball to curve off to the left. The inside out would look something like this. I play it out there, that ball curves off to the right, and now the inside in, I get the outside and I curve that ball from right to left. So I'm really widening the space that I can move my opponent into with my forehand. All right, so now you know you want to be running around those backhands to play an inside out, inside in forehand, but how do we get there? Well, there's 3 different ways to do it. I'm going to show you each of them. We're going to look at some pros and we're going to talk about the advantages and the disadvantages of each of them. The first one is the side shuffle. As you can see here, these pros only have to move a few steps to hit that inside out, inside in forehand. So a side shuffle gets you there quickly. It's 2 little shuffle steps, maybe 3, and from that position, we're already in that open stance that we want to hit that ball. From that open stance, we're also getting our weight forward, so our weight's going into the court. The disadvantage of this shot is that it's not that fast, and you can't cover a lot of ground if you had a further distance to go. That's when you would use the second method, which is the crossover step. But first, I'm going to show you exactly how that side shuffle works. When you do your split step and you see that ball just a little bit off to your left, you know you're going to run around your backhand, but it's not that far to go. I split and I shuffle, shuffle. My weight's forward, that's a great thing. I do my unit turn, and now I really load up, but I'm in that open stance. The open stance is key to these 2 shots. And from here, I can get on the inside, play the inside out, or get on the outside and play the inside in. All right, now we have the crossover steps. This is the method most commonly used among the pros. The crossover step is better than the side shuffling because you can cover more ground. You can get there faster. As you see these pros, they slide that right leg back and they're doing crossover steps, and the key element is the last step. The last step has to be with the left foot going back so that they're back into that open stance position. From that open stance, they can play both inside out and inside in forehands. Another big advantage of this crossover step method is that when they load up with their right leg down on the ground and their left foot back, their weight is forward. That makes it much easier to explode into the court. One disadvantage is it's not quite as fast as running backwards. If I really had a long distance to go and a short time to get there, running backwards is a little bit faster. All right, so how do you exactly use that crossover step to get into that stance? Well, like all shots, we start with a split step, but now I'm going to move my right leg behind my left. My right leg comes back like this. I'm coming over like this. My toes are forward, but I'm moving that right leg back, and I end up in this stance here. I'm in the open stance. An advantage of this method versus the side shuffling is my left leg's a little closer to the net than my right. I'm in more of a semi-open stance. Again, another advantage is my weight is forward. So I'm ready to really rip that ball back here for the inside out or play that inside in out there. My weight was forward, my stance was correct, and I got there a little quicker than if I was side shuffling. All right, so the last footwork pattern is back pedaling. And as you can see here, Rafa is doing a drill to work on this. He's doing a unit turn and he's basically just running backwards. The key for him is that last step where he slides his right leg back to get into that open stance. That allows him the angles possible to hit that inside out, inside in forehand. For him, it's his biggest weapon. It's probably one of the biggest weapons of all time. And all great players do their best to avoid Nadal playing that inside out, inside in forehand. All right, so here's how you do that one. Again, we start with our split step. Now I'm gonna do a full unit turn. I'm gonna turn all the way back this way, and I'm gonna start running backwards. My last step is with my left leg back. I'm in that great stance, open, a little bit semi-open because my left leg is closer to the net than my right leg. And from here, I can play that inside out, inside in shot. What are the disadvantages? Well, the disadvantage is because I'm running backwards, my weight is not forward. My weight is not into the court. So it's easy to lose your balance with this method. But as you can tell, the advantage of getting there quicker is great. So you can use it on balls where you really have to cover a lot of ground. All right, so now we're in that open stance position. We've run around our backhand. We need to talk about why this stance is so important. And the reason it's so important to be open is so that I can catch that ball later for the inside out forehand. You can see my strings here are pointed off to the right. And that's the only way I can get the ball way off to the right is by catching it late. If I was closed off and playing a closed stance forehand and I tried to get the ball back here, I would just be way too jammed and it would be really uncomfortable. So I'm gonna slide that left foot back, catch it late, and really create that sharp angle off to the right. Slide that left back. That one got really sharp. One more. Slide that foot back, hold. You can see I've got to really wait, and while I'm waiting, I call that holding. I'm letting the ball come back and I'm getting it all the way back here so I can have that angle. I'm also more on the inside, which is creating a little bit of that turn off to the right. Now for the inside in, this time when I'm holding, I'm just going to release the racket further out in front and try to hook the ball off to the left. Same stance here, but earlier that ball's hooking off to the left now. Going all the way to the left. One more. Right in here. So now, by playing it earlier, I'm getting the ball to go left down the line, but I'm also more on the outside. I'm getting that ball to curve to the left. So those are the two shots. There's a huge range from the one inside out to the right and the inside in to the left. Both balls are curving off the court and really creating a lot of space for my opponent to cover. All right, so that leads us right into the most valuable part of this shot, and that is disguise. You can really disguise this shot well by holding on that right leg, by staying in that loaded position there. I can wait and really watch my opponent and see which way they're leaning. If I see them lean a little to the left, I can hold it longer, play it back here, and go inside out. If I see them starting to lean to the other way because I've been hitting so many inside outs, I can fire early and pull it left and play the inside in. I'll do two of each and see if you can tell which is which. They really look very, very similar. Coming around, there's one. Coming around, shuffling back, split step, back pedaling. One more. So I went from inside out to inside in, back and forth on those. I don't know if you could tell the difference, but they should look very, very similar. And that ability to hold on my right leg and watch my opponent is a huge advantage of this shot. All right, so there it is. There you have all the aspects for having a successful runaround forehand, for a successful inside out, inside in forehand. If you want to get good at this shot, you've got to be really willing to work hard when you're out there. It takes a lot more energy to be running backwards or side shuffling or doing that crossover step to get forehands. If you're kind of lazy on the court or not really showing a lot of energy, you're not going to be able to use this shot. So you've got to get pumped. You've got to be like Nadal. That guy's an animal out there running around his backhand as much as possible. Get out there, practice those three methods, see which one works for you, and I'll see you on the next video.